patrolling or going about their business.
Willow would mention to Rudge, she'd be like, this is kind of what I've been wondering, is their true security. We've only dealt with some of the, we'll call them primitive civilizations on this planet. I'm curious what the modern, air quotes, security systems are like.
Yeah. But as of right now, it seems as though you've gotten into the outer village area without arousing any attention from the resident troops.
I feel like from here on out we should refrain from using any of our abilities. Mike, if you're talking, you're muted.
Oh, I assume you dropped.
Yeah, we've been walking for a while. I assume
saw the people and they saw you.
Just floating over the people's heads. Excuse me.
Yeah. Yeah, so you guys are on your feet.
Yep, I didn't hear anything. I asked you, or I said I've been curious about their security systems, a modern security system. Taking pictures of the Death's Head transport.
Yeah, pretty good shots. It definitely looks like a design that is. I mean, it's very showy. Very much so. It's a lot of unnecessary bits. Dude.
That sounds pretty awesome, though. You'll get like a picture of that Willow's drawing of a kraken with a laser coming out of its mouth.
Yeah,
so I was like, aww. Indeed.
So, where are you guys gonna head to?
I feel like we should almost want to beeline for the well and see if we can make contact with any of the shady folk. How you feel? Think that's a good idea? I mean, otherwise we can just try and get in the tower. Let's go knock on the side of it. Hello? Let us in.
To your most important people.
We are the only ones of our species on this planet. Let us in.
Unfortunate. Alright, you're gonna try and head over towards the well. Alright, yeah, so I should point out, you know the name of the place and its general location. That's about it. Yep. You assume it is a well somehow?
Yeah, like when Willow read the well, she literally assumes it's a physical well in the ground.
Alright,
so, yeah. like she thinks the whole system of like hanging around a watering hole and you'll get some gossip.
Why don't you guys give me perception rolls then?
Alright. Let's get ourselves killed. Yeah, Willow's thinking it's probably a tavern, actually. I got 17 on the die, and I have a decent bonus. I gotta find my bonus here, because...
Yeah, those are 17, isn't it? Yeah, so you head in towards the direction of, like, the buildings, kind of get into the, like, that area. The marketplace here is sort of similar to some of the other open-air markets that you've encountered in your travels. It's a little bit cleaner, although the buildings are still somewhat ramshackle. Wandering around there a bit, you do see a couple of, like, we assume are coalition officers dressed in their, like, their black uniforms with the skulls and all that. From a distance, I assume that you do not, or you try to not get near them. Try not to draw attention to yourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're just sort of around patrolling. If you stay away from the main streets, you don't have a big problem here.
Jammers can be detected, just so you know.
Yep.
Anything aside from, like, just standard, like, lights and stuff to give off their own energy signals that can be tracked by higher sensors. Not saying they have those sensors, but I'm assuming they are. Just because that's clearly a military base right there.
No.
I'm assuming these are the type of guys that don't like civilians having radar jammers.
I don't think any military people like that. Okay, yeah. So, but in your sort of wanderings around, you find sort of like a square area in the general area where your napkin map says the well is, just like a little sort of plaza type thing. With a bunch of, like, ramshackle buildings stacked around it, and there is, like, a fairly large ground well in the middle of it, and a couple of larger buildings surrounding the area. Doesn't seem to be particularly occupied. Like this plaza, say it's a plaza. It's not that large. It's maybe like 50 feet on a side.
Okay. Is this like a? I'm trying to think of the right way to describe this. Is this like almost like a European style, like, plaza where it's like in between some taller buildings? Or
Yeah.
Is it...
Yeah.
Okay.
And there's a guy, an old man, sitting on the edge of the well playing a harmonica with gusto. That is the only person in the vicinity.
Well, Willow, liking music, will just kind of walk over a little closer, not too close, but yeah, I was gonna say, I was assuming you're gonna record it, and Willow's gonna look back at you and give you like a thumbs up, like you're recording, right?
So you, like, walk up and watch him. Like, as he's playing, one of his eyes kind of, like, opens and, like, looks towards you and just sort of, like, watches you. It's like twitch in his eyebrow as he just continues playing.
Nope. Yep. No. Nope. Is it, how big is this well? Like, is it big enough to where, like, she could go on, like, the other side and sit down to kind of just listen?
Yeah, it's about it's like 10 feet wide.
Okay, yeah, that's wide enough.
One of the larger one.
COVID social distancing rules.
Yep.
She'll just kind of, like, go on, like, she'll stand there and, like, pause for a minute and just kind of listen to him, and she'll, like, nod her head like she enjoys it, and then just kind of wander around and just go sit on the other side of the well and just listen for a little while.
All right.
So, Rudge, I don't think we have a way to contact anyone here, nor do we have any, like, specific information we're looking for. But I do say that the fact that we came to a location that's designated as a location for more unscrupulous folk, there's a good chance this guy is just being a distraction. I mean, I don't think it matters. Well, I mean, our only goal here currently is really just to kind of scout and see what's going on and see if we can get some information. I don't know if I want to press anybody here, because if we do, we might end up in a confrontation that we're not prepared to handle the repercussions of. Do you feel like you could talk to these type of folk without giving away your you? I'm just, because I do have the ability to look like them, which gives me an edge, but I don't know their customs very well. Right. Well, I say we could give it a shot if you are up for it. Yeah. All right. So Willow will actually change her form ahead of time.
Yeah, so like a couple of minutes go by, like as you guys are discussing this on the other side of the well here, and oh, okay, so you're just watching the guy. Yeah, so like at about the time it takes like a bit to do your transformation, right? Like a minute or something.
I do believe it's like around a minute.
Okay.
I would take a look, but it's about that.
At about like halfway through your transformation, Willow, you spot a guy who like slides out from an alleyway nearby you. He's wearing kind of like a sort of bushman, like frontiers style combat armor, minus the helmet.
Yeah.
And he walks up to sort of like a halfway point in between you, the both of you, kind of like making a triangle between the three. Yep, exactly that sort of thing. You see, he does have a pistol at his hip. He is not drawn or anything, but he says, "Who are you?" Both of you. Got some pretty fancy armor for wanderers. Don't recognize the make. Kind of like squints at you. Fancy. Where'd you get it? Where'd he get it? War, huh? What about you? Looks at Willow.
Similar story. Handed down from family to family. Same war, different side. But
don't look like glitter boys to me.
No, I mean, Willow to say, I'm unfamiliar with what a glitter boy is, but
Well, not very common around here. Different kind. It's
interesting.
Glittery. Anyways, if you're not here for a reason, you should probably move on. Market's over there. This well's for locals.
Yeah. Willow will kind of like stand up now instead of like sitting down, relaxing like she was. Says, the locals around here are close to one another, then I'm assuming, if you care so much for who sits on your fountains.
Yep. You could say we're a real tight-knit community. We don't like people that aren't invited coming around. What do you mean? He seems like a little bit guarded when you bring up that, and like kind of pauses for a second, like just sort of looking you up and down, and says, "You hit the nail on the head there. Hit the nail on the head there. Most of the people around here are not official coalition citizens. Only citizens are allowed inside the walls unless there's an emergency." Doubtful, unless you got the proper paperwork. Yep.
Yeah.
Bigwigs and bureaucrats are pretty fond of that stuff.
Question. It was Boone, the Boone squad, that was the one that told us about these guys, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I have another question, if you don't mind me asking. We may not have an invite, but we were told that we could find some friends here through a potential source known as Boone. Does the name sound familiar to you? Yep.
Might. Sounds familiar, yeah.
We met him.
Bunch of no-goods. Last time I heard they skipped town, yeah?
Yep. No. Well,
kind of like sort of chews his tongue and glances back towards the market, and pretty sure he makes like brief eye contact with the harmonica player guy.
Yeah.
Who has stopped playing the harmonica and is just sort of like silently watching the conversation. And he says, "All right, well, if you know Boone, I think that's enough to bring this conversation someplace less open air." And he just kind of like does a little finger gesture thing, like, "Come with me."
I was doing like finger guns. Come this way.
Yes.
Well, it's like these earthlings and they're like finger gestures.
They got 5 of them. They gotta make use of them.
I know.
Yes. All right. Yeah. So he goes into like an alleyway nearby, and there is one of those like sort of basement cellar door, like outside one, sort of things, where there is a just like a normal sort of padlock that is unbolted, and he just kind of like swings the door open and gestures for you guys to enter.
We'll head in.
So you head down into like a tunnel area, which is fairly crudely hacked and like sort of like hacked into the stone for a little while, and
put into prison again.
It sort of transitions to like this very like cracked old concrete tunnel that heads like back in the direction of the well. And actually, like after a little bit, you you see a couple of like metal like grate holes that like go up into the well shaft itself. It's a tiny little windows, and the tunnel sort of makes a like a circular path around the well itself, with a couple of other small tunnels branching off of it. And as you go past the well part, you hear the sound of like sort of a faint bit of music and some like sort of people murmuring and stuff. And a little ways further, you get to like this sturdy metal door with a really like large, like unnaturally large guy. I mean, he seems to be human. He's just very big and ugly, like 7 or 8 feet tall. So he has to kind of like hunch down a little bit in this hallway. But he kind of regards the guy you're with with a look, and he says, fancy armor people no boon. Figure it's enough to let him in. They don't seem like the type that the guards would be doing anything about or be in cahoots with. He just kind of like says, "You cause trouble, I rip off arms."
Fair enough. I agree to that. Your terms are quite harsh, but I agree. Yep.
He nods sharply and then like opens the door for you.
We cause trouble, get in trouble. He doesn't kill us, but he rips our arms off. Fair enough.
Yep. After an annoying period of time. They're like, man, these people are reacting strangely to this. Alright, so you step inside to this very, like, the black market sort of bar type area. It's kind of strange. It's sort of a mix between a bar and, like, an impromptu, like, market sort of area. Like, there's a couple of, like, stalls where there's, like this sort of canvas over an area where there's somebody, like, hawking weapons and what appear to be drugs and other such things, things that are illegal. And there are a couple of like sort of booths in between that where people do their shady business. And the guy who led you in kind of like steps off to the side into like a corner by the door and says, "All right, well, I assume you came here for a specific purpose. What are you looking for?"
Information, mostly.
Information. Oh, I would say like 80% of the people turn to look at you when you come in. Right. Okay. Yeah, keep an eye out for any shady levers. That one scene in the movie where the person comes in and then like the guy in the background gets up and walks out of it. Yep. And then the next scene there's a showdown. Alright. Yeah, so he says, Information. If it's information you're looking for, you probably want to talk to Rocco. And he points over to like a booth sort of on the far side that has a bunch of. It's got like a computer terminal next to it, and there's some like tech gadgetry and stuff around it.
Okay.
And then, well, you look like you're pretty well equipped, but Chaz over there has the guns. Stuff that the good stuff that you're not going to be able to get up top side. And if you're looking for a little pick me up, you either head up to the bar or you go over there to
the guy at the door that can pick us up.
It's Blitz over there has the pick me up.
No, I was just making a joke that the big guy could physically pick me up if I was just looking for a pick me up.
You can totally see Willow making that joke. And
oh yeah, she did
absolutely fall flat.
Yeah, that's exactly what she would do.
He says, "Don't cause any trouble, and if you, it goes without saying, but if you rat on us to the coalition, then we'll make sure you pay." You guessed it. Why don't you give a perception roll for him? Alright. Good to know. So nobody has left or done anything like that in the time being, but he's got a freaking hell of an eye on everything. He just sort of like nods and then walks over to the door. Actually, you see him walk over to like a certain corner where you see that there's like a sort of like a hole carved into the wall. He just sort of like leans up against that. Yep, just the general sort of rough and tumble gunslinger looking guy. Probably just more of the muscle, yeah. No. There doesn't seem to be any apparent, like, big leader person in this area here. It's just sort of like a collection of shady figures.
Yeah.
Alright, so
I do suggest you keep zero scanning to a minimum, by the way. Some of these people might be following your movements and may think they're kind of suspicious if you're scanning everyone.
if he limits it to just like visual sensors only, then it's fine. Like, you're watching your back sort of thing.
No, I know, but if you're just like actively scanning the room, like even if it's just like, camera that spins in circles, I'm sure they've set up their own spy stuff. Yeah.
So you go over to Rocco's booth. Rocco is a middle-aged man with sort of like spiky grayish hair, like pointy goatee. Both of his forearms end in these like skeletal cybernetic hands, and he has a tiny like little third arm that is installed underneath one of just right underneath one of his armpits that has a bunch of different sort of attachments on it that just sort of spin and rotate to his required. And he's currently scanning through something on his computer screen when you look up, and he sort of does a little double take and says, "Hoo-hoo, fancy. Oh, I bet you have a lot of money. What are you looking for?" Interesting. Well, I might have some things. Depends on what you're looking for. What are you looking for?
Well, in all honesty, we want to know more about this campaign of unity that this coalition is launching.
Ooh, big things in motion, eh? Oh, that's some pretty heavy stuff if you're looking for details. There's military secrets, yes.
Sure.
I might have some info. It's very expensive, though.
Still has zero idea how much credits we actually have. She does not even begin to bother learning the credit system yet.
Well, if you have the credits, then I'll take credits. If you don't have the credits, then maybe we could work something out. You seem like mercenary types, yes?
It's a good way to describe us.
Professionals, if I'd have to say, by your ear. I'm interested to where you're coming from. Of course, you don't have to answer. I would expect it, but...
We'll have to charge you for that information then.
Clever. Well, I would be willing to purchase that information. One could say that, yes. I know a lot of things. Of course, knowing things is dangerous, depending on what it is, so you gotta be careful. But don't worry, I'm careful with my secrets. Well, if you're looking for everything that I have, Coalition troops, that's going to run you 500,000 credits.
I was like, Rudge, is that reasonable? While you're laughing at how ridiculous it is, you have Willow questioning whether that's okay. So, what if we don't need troop movement? That's a bit above what we need.
Well, what are you looking for? General direction?
Yes, that is the... Let's... Yes, how about direction, general direction, and some name drops?
Well... Let me think here. What do we have? And you can see him, he's sort of looking at you, but you get the feeling that he's, almost looking past you.
Oh, yeah.
And with the, you guys look pretty observant. If you see, one of his eyes, the pupil is, twisting and, dilating and contracting rapidly.
I was just thinking, I feel bad because Rudge is probably that's how Will looked at me all the time, just right past me. You can never have just a direct conversation with someone.
Yes. Alright, so he says, looking for where they're going so you can get out of the way, that sort of thing. Let's see, well, if you're not caring about specifics, I can drop a couple of tidbits. We'll say we'll go in tiers. If you're looking for troop movements and dates, or like directions and general dates, along with important people, I'll say that's 100,000 credits. If you're looking for general movements alone, I would drop that down to a reasonable 30,000. There's a particular name that might be interesting to you, which I could think of. I can give you that for 10,000. And if you're strapped for cash and you just want some vague hints, I'm always willing to part with those for a mere 5,000 credits. Certainly, take your time. Of course, if you find those rates to be a little bit above your pay grade, as it were, there is something I have, pulled off my shelf. Things to do, as it were, that you could humor me with. There is a building near the gate called the Coalition Immigration and Enlistment Office. You've been in town, but it's quite large. It would be hard to miss it. There is a computer in the office of the regional director, which I would like a copy of the hard drive. I would prefer that you left the there. Just the hard drive. I would give you the equipment to do it. Copy it, that is. You'd simply bring it back to me. I don't particularly care how you get it, as long as you don't bring any heat back here, of course, because, you know, there would be problems.
You just seeing flashbacks of the day you landed on the stupid planet. Right.
Ideally, for you, I would say that the subtler the better, but that's
Give us a moment to speak, and then we'll...
Of course, I'll be here all day. Yep. Still quite a few people watching. Zero. Or no, you guys go ahead and have your conversation. I'll say this after.
I imagine if he's working at this level, he probably has what he wants. But it's possible. Why? But it seems like a man of his particular skills probably has gear more for its use rather than its looks. But that being said, I do kind of want to know general timeframes of troop movement because that gives us something to look forward to our timeline, to our deadline. Yes, but he probably wants to leave it there so that way in the future he can gather more information off of it without it being a hassle. Right. Yes, that seems to be our best option. Yes, I feel if we could avoid using them all together while we're here, that's probably in everyone's best interest. Well, the other thing is
DB. Thinking of the other campaign where everybody hates you.
There's also the fact that if any of our powers are recorded, then that means they know what we can do.
Rocco. ROKKO. Yep. Mm-hmm. This is welcome back. Have you come to a decision on my offer? Alright, well, I'm a little bit reluctant to give up all of the dirty details for just this one job, but I'm willing to give you the 100,000 package for this little gig, as it were. So that would be, yes, the direction of the movements, the dates, and important people. Leaving out specific numbers and details. Certainly. The job, and he pulls from a drawer this fairly small sort of hard disk type thing. Basically, it's a portable hard drive, just like a plug on it. It says, "I need you to attach this to computer, to download the files onto it. It's set up. It's idiot-proof, as it were. All you have to do is press this button. Once you plugged it in, it'll do the work." Points at the button, on the side.
How long does it take?
This light here will flash green when it's done. It should take a minute or two at most. Indeed. The terminal in question, I said, is in the office of Regional Director. Her name is Samantha Walsh. You'll find her office at the top. It's got a big window. Pretty hard to miss.
How do you spell her last name? Samantha.
Wholsh.
Sorry, one more time.
Wholsh.
Oh, so I got an extra one there, my bad. Like that?
Yep.
Okay.
Also, I don't know how you entered the city. I should mention it. Another service I provide is quite common is false identification. And he kind of like pulls a drawer out with sort of like a line of these sort of plastic cards that look like they have like little chip readers in them. He says, if you entered the city through illegitimate means, one of these visitor IDs can be quite helpful traversing areas more heavily patrolled by officers. Depends on how much trouble you're in. Oh, they're quite cheap. You're looking at visitors' IDs, it's a mere 2,000 credits apiece. And I would have to get some of your details to falsify the information. Take me a couple of minutes. Not wanting your own face on it. That's fair. Although we'll make it slightly less suspicious if they, or slightly more suspicious if they're looking to investigate you in more detail.
If we're at that point.
Okay. Yes, of course. If you're looking to buy those. Excellent. Just give me a little bit of the information you want. He rattles off like standard information, height, weight. You would, like, if you want to have a picture on it, like attached to it, then you can take that. Otherwise,